Story, a sign causing major controversy in Norfolk.
It's part of an eminent domain dispute. Back in May, we told you Bob Wilson hung this banner on his business, Central Radio. It's a protest against the city who he says is trying to take his property as part of its redevelopment effort near Old Dominion University. Today, he was forced to cover that sign up. 10 on your side's Andy Fox was there. Andy?
Yeah, guys, this is the big blue tarp. This nasty drag-out eminent domain case has now ended, at least for now, with this big blue tarp. This is video of it being covered up earlier. Ordered by the federal court, it ruled that the city sign ordinance is indeed accurate and needs to be complied to. They were told, it's kind of confusing right now whether they have to take it down or just cover it up, but Central Radio's owner says he had no choice but to comply. The sign says 50 years on the street, 78 years in Norfolk, 100 workers threatened by eminent domain. The city of Norfolk told the judge that the huge sign violates the city's sign ordinance. The judge agreed the sign should be covered, at least covered, until the trial is over. In February, they will be in court to figure out whether the city can take the property and basically give it to ODU. This is Bob Wilson. You're really upset you had to do this.
I am. I feel like the city is taking away my right to protest under the First Amendment. They're not allowing me. They say we can put up a smaller sign, but that smaller sign is nothing more than a whisper in the protest.
Right, but the city is saying this violates their sign ordinance, that in order to comply, that tarp, which now covers the whole sign, needs to be a sixth of the size.
That's correct. But we don't believe, under our freedom of speech rights, our First Amendment rights, we believe that we can make a protest as loud and as large as we want it to be.
But the judge said that did not agree with that, and that the city, if you did not do this, could fine you up to $1,000 a day.
That is correct, yes.
The big question is, now that blue tarp can be interpreted perhaps as a sign. The question is covering it up enough?
We believe that it is. The court in Norfolk has asked us to cover it for a couple of cases that came up, and we complied and covered it, and it was sufficient for the court in Norfolk, Circuit Court.
Now, for the folks at home, there are two issues here. The sign, which they did not give you a temporary injunction, so you had to at least cover this up. We'll figure out if you have to cover it up or take it down. The second issue, which is going to be heard in February, is a much more important one to you, is the actual taking of this property and giving it to ODU for an unspecified reason. You think that's wrong?
We do. We believe that it's illegal, number one, under the grandfather clause that the legislature put in for them after the Kelo decision, and we believe that it's morally wrong. We are a contributor to this city. We've been here for 78 years. We pay good wages to our employees. We've got 100 people that live in this area, that vacation in this area, that their kids go to school in this area. They pay taxes in this area. How in the world are we need to be taken by somebody else?
And your business is right over here. It was not blight, which becomes one of the characterizations of an eminent domain case as to whether it is blight. And you're saying my business isn't blight. I employ 100 people.
My business is not blighted. And in fact, if anything, the buildings that ODU has erected behind us have the same facade. They're painted the same color as ours. They have the same brick out front. It looks just like us. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Bob Wilson, thank you very much. And once again, guys, the big issue will become, and I've called the city about it, and they're checking into it now, whether that's enough, whether covering it with a tarp is enough, or whether they need to take down the sign altogether. This continues to be a very controversial case involving a business owner and the city of Norfolk. We'll have more coming up later on in our 90 Minutes of News. Guys, back to you.